っとくすぐったいぞ。うわ、なんだこれ。
Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to another exciting review of Midwest Tokusatsu's Toku Toy Time. I am Brock, and this week we are taking a look at the Final Form Ride 04 Kamen Rider FaizBlaster Final Form Ride series. And oh man, have I been excited to review this one. Yes, probably one of my favorite Final Form rides. I think that the FaizBlaster is just awesome. Absolutely awesome. But we'll first take a look at the packaging before I start gushing about this. So here it is. Look at the packaging. You have the nice window to view Faiz in the packaging. Nice view of the card. You do have the FaizBlaster down here. Stuff I can't read. On the top, you do see the FaizBlaster again. Faiz logo behind it. More FaizBlaster. On this side, you have the blaster in the front and Rider in the back. On this side, you have Rider in the front, Blaster in the back. On the back, you do have Rider, Blaster, interaction, you have function with the Deca Driver, Gamba Ride, and all of the figures. And on the bottom you have FaizBlaster and warnings and all that stuff. So that's pretty much the packaging. I know I rushed through that, but it's the packaging and I don't care because it's not the blaster. And blaster! Away with you. I attacked the camera. I'm sorry. I think the only other figure I'm looking forward to getting more than this is the Blade, but they are so close. Either way, here he is, Kamen Rider Faiz in his non-blaster form, in Rider form. Let's lower the camera so you can actually see it. Boom. There he is, looking gorgeous. So, Kamen Rider Faiz, absolutely, oh, I can't even tell you how great this figure is. Yeah, there's a lot of kibble. I'll get that right out of the way and say there's a lot of kibble, but being smart brain and that Faiz gear feel, it perfectly works with the figure. I think it's not an issue at all. Plus, you can remove these pieces so that it's less kibbly here. We'll do that just for you guys so that you can see it less kibbled. So, first things first, let's get in close on that head sculpt. The most important thing about any rider is his helmet. And focus. Focus. You can see it's perfectly done. Plenty of molded in detail, nice green in the center. The eyes are a great shade of yellow gold. You do have wonderful detail in the mouth. Come around to the back. Plenty of good stuff. Even a little bit of detail on the bottom of the helmet. So great detail there. The chest looks wonderful. The shoulders are wonderful. Great little ribbing in here. It stands out better than the ribbing on Decade and DN did, so I don't get how that's possible. The fingers, again, they also stand out a lot more too, and it's still that same thing of all black. The belt, plenty of good detailing in there. Yeah, it's not 100% color accurate, but there's still lots of good stuff there. Plenty of things going on all around the back. The legs look fantastic. You've got the nice red going all the way down. Just looks wonderful. And then, of course, this piece right here for the, I'm going to call it a target locator because I don't know what all the Faiz gear stuff is. Again, another series I haven't watched but want to watch because the aesthetic is great. Oh, come on. I know you come off. I take you off all the time. There we go. It does come off, so you can have that off when he's holding his accessories, which we'll show in a second. This one spins around but does not come off. So that is it for the details on this guy. Just gorgeous. Look at that. Look at all the red that they put in there. I know I'm getting ahead and showing off some articulation, but here we go. Now we'll start the articulation. You do have a ball joint on the head, so you can go all the way around with it. It can look up, can look down pretty well. Really good side-to-side motion for the ball joint on here. With the shoulders, you do get full range and more going out. You do have full rotation. You've got a elbow joint that goes 90. You do have rotation just above the elbow. The wrists can swivel all the way around, and you do get fingers that move in the two-finger joints. they close a lot tighter too than just a closed fist. Like there's your closed fist, these go in pretty far. So you do get a waist rotation, although I'm slightly disappointed because I kind of would rather have the waist be below the belt rather than with the belt, because now you get this weird sort of, I don't know, it's a horse apiece, I guess. So with the legs you get that much outward movement, but you do get full forward motion, you do get some backwards motion. Obviously it kicks out to the side, so that's your true backwards motion. You do get 90 degrees at the knee, but you do have to move this bit of kibble out to use any of the knee. With the knee, you do also have rotation just above it. On the ankles, you do have a ball joint that gets you some down, some up, full rotation all the way around, and a actually pretty fair amount of, tiltage despite how these are formed out. I love the yellow in there. God, this is one of those figures that does a great job representing the Kamen Rider, and you can just see everything in it. Now, for the accessories, you do have these that are primarily for the transformations, so we're just going to put these back on. I hope I'm getting on the right arms. They do just plug into the back of the elbows right there. So, boom, just like that. And they look fine. You don't really see them, so I have no problems leaving them on there. You also do get the case that holds all the Faiz gear, and he can hold that without any issues at all. Just put it in his hand, and there you go. No issues. Doesn't fall. Shakes around, but it's a case, so I don't see him needing to hold it super tightly. You do have the Faiz phone in gun form with the little target tracker thing on the top, so that's what I was saying. You can remove it from here so that it's accurate, but I usually don't. I just leave it there and have him holding the gun anyways, because I'd rather have as much on here as possible just so that I don't lose it in the future. So this is kind of like DN, where if you put it in the hand and just close it tight, you don't have the gun pointing straight, so you have to kind of futz with it until it's just right, but then it doesn't hold it very tightly, so that's a downside. That is a downside, but either way, you can have him kind of, holding on to the case and the gun and looking rather intimidating. So, and lastly, we'll get rid of these items. He does, of course, come with his sword, and that is held much better than the gun. Just put it in his hand, and boom, not going anywhere. Looks pretty cool. Pretty cool. To show you just a little bit more of the detail on the sword itself, it's a black handle, so you're not going to get much down here. Focus. There we go. So you're not going to get much, but on the other side you get some silver starting, and then you go down the blade. The silver on top with the red beneath it looks great, I think. Plenty of molded in detail. It is completely soft plastic, so it's never 100% straight, but it works, and I think it looks pretty damn cool. So that pretty much does it on the figure in Kamen Rider form. So now let's just bring in all the other riders. Kind of get him just standing. There we go. So here he is with Decade, and of course D-End. Then you've got Kuga. We'll bring in Den-O. We'll grab Kiva. And then Hibiki as well. So there you go. Again, I can't emphasize enough how great it is having all these figures, same scale, same mold, same body types. They all just work together. You look at it and you're just like, yes, perfect. Please give me more. Instead of having different varying sizes and different body styles. Again, newer figures have been a little bit cleaner and better at that, but if you were getting like anything from Kiva or Hibiki, fat chance of it looking good together on a shelf. So we'll put all this stuff off to the side and move on with the review. It takes a while to get all this stuff off to the side now that you have almost all the figures. We still have, how many do we have left? We've got Ryuki, we've got Kabuto. Kabuto's going to be last because he's expensive. he is expensive. I don't know why he's expensive, but he's expensive. So Ryuki Kabuto, Agito, and who am I missing? I'm missing someone. Oh well, you'll tell me in the comments. So last thing we need to kind of go over just before we can move on with this is, of course, the card that comes with it. So here it is, the Faiz Final Form Ride card. As you can see, exactly the same as the Super Best, which this one is. So I assure you, the same other than plastic versus cardboard stock. So we'll bring in the Deca driver, use the card.
Final Form Ride.
So there you go. That is the Final Form Ride card, and as such, let's move on to the Final Ride form. So, gonna tickle, tick. I just love doing that. I don't know why. So this is actually pretty simple, but really cool. So first things first, you're gonna take this giant chunk that's been hanging off the back and just flip it up. Easy. Easy, easy, easy. I actually thought when I got this, oh, I'll have to turn the head around, but then it doesn't go up at all. So head just faces down like that. Completely covered, but looks good. So next thing you're going to do is take the arms and pull them out. You want to pull them out because they won't move otherwise, but you pull them out and then they can rotate. So you take the arms, pull them out. Now you want to take the actual biceps and rotate them. So these are kind of facing off to the side like that. And then you just bring the arm up. Now, you can kind of do this a few different ways, but you then take this, you rotate it around on that post, and you flip this down and over the hand. Now, the best way to have the hand, I think, is probably face it up so it's clean at the bottom and you kind of see the thumb sticking out, but then you can tuck it a little bit tighter against the side. So it's pretty clean that way. Again, do the same thing. So rotate it so the elbow is facing out. Bring the arm up. Have the fist rotated upwards like that. Spin it around on that post. And then rotate down to cover the hand. And then just kind of fine tune it, fickle it. Have them facing straight forward if at all possible. Now for the feet, very simple. You just kind of bring them close together. You flip down both of these, and as you can see here, you have a clip, and on this side, you have what it clips on to. So you're just going to bring them together until they click together. Very, very simple. So now you pretty much have done forming the blaster, but there's two things, and those are the handles. So first handle, you're going to form by taking off the targeting locator. Yeah, it's tight. Now you're just going to take it and flip it so the other small port goes in. Now you've got a handle facing out. And then you're just going to take, you're going to come down to the chest, and it's hidden very well. And I kind of wanted to wait till this point in the interview, or the review, to show it off. But here it is. You just flip down the handle. You just grab hold of that little piece of red that's sticking out, and it comes right out from the center of his chest. And I love how they hid that. It's gorgeous. It doesn't interfere with the rotation, but there you go. You now have the FaizBlaster. And it's just a little bit of finicky lining it up so that it looks straight. But otherwise, your FaizBlaster is complete. And I think it's just great. I love how simple it is. It's basically just, I now have guns coming out of my feet, and my arms are on top. But at the same time, as simple as it is, it still pulls off a very unique look and far more intimidating than most of the other Final Form Ride configurations. Now, obviously Decade is meant to hold this, but if Decade were to just try to hold it without any support, he would just fall over immediately. So, the briefcase acts as double duty. Here it is. What you do is you take it and open it up so it's flat now, and you can come in here and you'll see that this folds down to form a stand, and you take the handle and you rotate it around so that this point is sticking up. Now what you do is you come to the FaizBlaster itself. You want to split the legs open, and right on the inside of the thigh, there's a slot. And you just take one side of here, and slot it in. And then you just sandwich it with the other side, and that holds it in tightly. You just click the legs back together, and now there's a stand, and Decade will have no problems holding this. So now you just are working around a stand holding it up so that Decade can just position himself around the blaster instead of you trying to position the blaster around Decade. And then there's far less issues in weight and trying to balance this thing. You can also kind of get it balanced just on the briefcase alone, but it'll tip over at the slightest hint of wind. So we'll set this up. We'll just bring in the stand for a little bit more stability. Have that facing forward. Then we'll take Decade's hand, wrap it around the inside. I don't know. Yeah, we'll have it wrapped around this handle. Like that. It's actually the first time I've put it in his hands, and that stand really doesn't reach all the way to the ground, which is annoying and irritating. But, yeah, hold on. We can do this! Things I should test out before doing reviews. I just got this figure, so I'm so excited to play with it and review it. I had to just go straight to the review. So now we'll take the other hand and wrap it around like that. Kind of reposition. There we go. Okay. So he can't really shoulder mount it, but that's kind of okay, because what you can do is basically like tactical sniper rifle this, where he's got, if I can get that leg, there we go. There we go. So there he is holding the FaizBlaster. Now, I am slightly disappointed with this because my hope was that I could shoulder mount this thing over his shoulder and he would just be standing there kind of leaning backwards with it and just firing the gun. But the stand is too short for that. What you can do is have him in this kind of bending down on taking a knee, because the blaster is so strong. It's kind of like a sniper rifle where he has to take a knee and really brace himself for it. So overall, you can still get a pretty wicked cool pose. It's just not necessarily what I had hoped for. So I guess, what do I think about this figure? Well, it's one of the few times my opinion has slightly changed from doing a review of the figure, but that's really because I hadn't tried doing this prior to filming. Again, it just arrived in the mail. I couldn't wait to show you guys. So my opinion is it's still an amazing figure. I think it's well worth the money to get this guy. He does a great job as Faiz just by himself. The amount of detail that is in this thing is beautiful. The FaizBlaster, how it forms and the way it looks as a blaster, again, beautiful. My only niggle and flaw and thing I don't like is the pose that I can get from it. I think that I would much prefer what I was thinking in my head, but I think that opinion is just biased on the fact that I can't do what I was thinking about in my head. So overall, I say good figure, go out, get it, enjoy it. If you like Faiz, good representation of Faiz. If you like Decade with Faiz, get Decade and Faiz. If you want any of the Final Form Ride figures, get any of the Final Form Ride figures. But either way, I think that about wraps it up for this review. If you like what you saw and you want more, please click that subscribe button. Like, comment, share, and favorite the video. And if you want to see a specific review, comment below. I will have links for where you can purchase this item, as well as where you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram, all in the description. Once again, this has been Brock of Midwest Tokusatsu's Toku Toy Time, and we are out. Blam!